everybody, Bill here, the Kansas Flamingo Chef. And did you know that flamingos love shrimp? That's right, flamingos love shrimp. They eat it, that's how their feathers turn this crazy pink color. It's actually called krill that they eat most often, but it is shrimp. So I'm going to try to incorporate shrimp in quite a few videos. And today, I want to show you how to make a really simple shrimp pasta that your family will enjoy. You'll enjoy it. It's got some flavor, and you can kick it up with a little more heat if you want to. But the way I'm going to make it, I think everybody will like. So let's get started with our ingredients here. We've got shrimp, and these are wild-caught Gulf shrimp. Personally, I really prefer this option. These are called Texas Browns. If you want to use cheaper shrimp, you know, do whatever, but I'm telling you, you get better flavor out of good shrimp. We got red pepper, green pepper, some onion. I've got some asparagus. Again, you don't have to have the asparagus. Really, it just adds a little color and adds a little look. Some green onion. I've got a can, just a single can of Bertolli Alfredo sauce. You can use a different Alfredo if you want. We're not going to use the whole can. I've got a can of green onion, or excuse me, green chilies. I've got some stewed tomatoes. About a half a stick of butter. You can use any kind of butter. For this one, you really don't need the additional garlic butter because we're going to put garlic in it. We've got some penne pasta. If you prefer a different shape of pasta, use whatever pasta you like. Tabasco sauce. I've got some Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Here again, if there's a seasoning you prefer, that's fine, but Creole seasoning is going to help tremendously. We've got some granulated garlic, and then if you want to add some spice, either crushed red pepper, ground red pepper, or if you want to add some real spice, cayenne pepper. But these two are optional, kind of like the asparagus. So let's get started. First thing you got to do is make pasta. Hopefully you guys know how to boil pasta, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. And we'll, after I get the pasta done, we'll go from there. Okay, so while you've been away, I've got the pasta boiling. I peeled and deveined my shrimp. And now what I'm going to do is prepare the vegetables and let you see just about how much I'm going to use. No rocket science here, we're just going to cut veggies. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm sure you can hear the pasta boiling. This, like I said, is no big trick. We're just going to cut vegetables, but I just want you to get an idea of how much I'm actually going to use. So, this green pepper I used a cut of yesterday. I'm going to slice off about that much again. Same thing with the red pepper, and the same thing with the onion. With the asparagus, all I want to do is use the tips because I want it to look nice in the pasta. So I'm going to cut it right about like that. I'm also going to cut just a couple extra pieces. Those will just go into the dish to add a little color and flavor. Green onion. Now these are pretty wilted. That's okay because I'm planning on using very little anyway. I'll cut these the root pieces away. I'm not going to use those. And then we're going to cut just some small chunks down until we get to the part that's pretty limp. I'm going to throw the rest away. Okay, as far as our peppers go and onions, just do coarse chops like this. So you got to cut down to manageable sizes. We don't want them fine chopped. Just want it in a manageable size. And then with the onion, kind of the same thing. Just a manageable chop. so the first thing we're going to do is turn the heat on, obviously. I'm going to put it at about medium. While I'm going to move my pasta so it's not sticking, because it ought to be getting close to being ready. Okay. Alright. So as that pan is warming up, I'm going to melt some butter in there. Now, I've got about a half a stick of butter here, and I'm going to cut it into pieces, just in large chunks. The only reason is that way it'll heat more evenly and quickly, it'll melt more evenly and quickly, and we can get started faster. Now a couple of ingredients I forgot to mention earlier. A little white wine, and anytime I'm cooking seafood, there's going to be Old Bay involved. So those are on my ingredient list as well. Peeled and deveined shrimp looks like this one's ready. If you don't know how to devein shrimp or peel shrimp, you can buy them peeled and deveined. I prefer to do it myself because you get more yield. Also, it's really not hard. And if you comment below that you'd like to learn, I'll be glad to make a video and show you. Alright, so our butter's melting, and we're just going to kind of move it around the pan so we've got a glaze. Like so. And we're going to go ahead and put our vegetables in first. All those veggies that we cut up, they're going to go in there. And we're going to let those saute for a minute. Now, to that, I'm going to add this can of green chilies. And that's it for the moment, except for our good friend salt. And his brother pepper. Like I told you before, vegetables need salt. Alright, let's give that a couple of minutes to cook and I'll show you what to do next. This is going to saute for about 5 minutes. Okay, so you got to watch that saute in high speed. You can see it's breaking down now and the vegetables are getting translucent. In this particular dish, I want them soft, but the asparagus isn't going to get as soft. Okay? Our pasta is pretty much done. I'm just letting it continue to soften just a little bit. And we're ready for the next step. So we're going to add some Cajun seasoning. Probably about, maybe not even a quarter of a teaspoon. Just enough to give it a little flavor. We'll come back and add some more here in a minute as that sets up. Alright. Now we're going to add about half of this can of tomatoes. We're going to just kind of chop them up just a little bit. They don't need to be broken completely. They're going to break. And they already stewed for crying out loud. Stir that in. See what your color consistency looks like. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest. I'm already open. We'll just put them in there. So, you guys have probably noticed by now I'm not big on measurements. I'm more interested in flavor. When you're running restaurants, measurements are far more important than when you're making food at home. Alright. You stir this pasta again, bring that heat up to high. Our pasta's just about absorbed all the water, which is exactly what I want it to do. Alright, we're going to add some granulated garlic. This one I am going to measure, just for the sake of measurement. We've got the Flamingo teaspoon here. And we're going to get a teaspoon of garlic, granulated garlic, and dump that in there. Stir it together. And normally I'd probably also add some minced garlic, but I wanted the consistency to be a little different, so there's not going to be minced garlic in this. We may go back and put a little more granulated into it than that. Pasta's. I'm going to add 3 or 4 shots, or 6 or 7, depending on your taste buds, of Tabasco. And mix that in as well. I do love the smell of Tabasco. Alright, before we do anything else, we're going to add a little bit of white wine. It doesn't need very much. Just break it down a little bit. Now, me personally, I'm perfectly happy throwing the shrimp in right now and calling it good. But I've noticed that most people like a little creamier base. So at this point you can use just about any cream base that you want, as I add a teaspoon of the Old Bay here. But what I'm going to use today, just to make it easy, is I'm just going to use some Alfredo sauce. Now I like to use sour cream, heavy cream, half and half, any of those work. It's just whatever your taste buds are. Pasta can come off the heat. So we're going to add some of this Alfredo. Maybe a third of it. I mean, we're not going to need much more than that. That's probably plenty. And stir that together. It'll just give you that creamy consistency. Really, and that's the only reason you're putting it in here. And it gives it a cheesy flavor, which is kind of nice too. Our shrimp go in. Now, one thing about this dish, if you don't like shrimp, you can use something else. If you'd rather have chicken, use chicken. If you'd like to have both, use both. You can add some sausage if you want. I do want to bring the heat down a little bit because this shrimp will cook fast. And you don't want to overcook the seafood. If it's a little thick, like it is right now, you're going to break it up a little bit by adding a little wine. You could also use a seafood stock. You could use a chicken stock, although I wouldn't recommend it. Chicken stock will really change the flavor of the dish. Seafood stock would be fine. And I've done that. You can even add a little water if you want. I'm just not a big put water in stuff person. Now I'm going to add just a tiny bit of cayenne pepper, and I do mean a tiny bit. I mean, that's probably a quarter of a teaspoon, maybe. Let's just look. That's not even a quarter of a teaspoon. Now I'm adding the cayenne because I like it hot. If you don't like it hot, don't add cayenne because it will make it hot. Okay, our shrimp are almost done. You can see how fast that cooks. And I want to take them off before they're completely done because they're going to continue to cook when you take them off the heat. So what we're going to do now is take this off the heat, grab our pasta, and go drain it. I'll be right back. All right, at this point, the fish is done. Pasta's cooked and drained. I've just taken it off, taken the water off of it. I'm going to dump everything else right in there with it. Grab my spatula to clean the bulgy little pan scraping. We want all that good stuff in our food, not in our garbage disposal. Okay. Now we're just going to mix it together. And it's still sitting on a little bit of high heat. That's all right. All right, I'm going to move this off the heat again. At this point, you can add just about anything to it that you like flavor-wise. So if you want to add a bunch of cheese, you can do that. If you want to add more of this stuff, you can do that. Whatever you think makes your flavor profile right. Me, I'm ready. There is literally nothing easier to plate than pasta. If you want to dress it up with some shredded cheese and stuff like that, you certainly can. But all you need is a pasta bowl, or even a plate, if you prefer. So just for the sake of making it look pretty, we're going to add a little cheese. I just have some Mexican-style blended cheese from Kroger. Nothing that exciting. Just